Everton won, Manchester United nil. What a massive win for Everton Football Club. Like, honestly, this could be the win that keeps them in the Premier League. It's only 3 points, but boy, does it feel like 10. And they deserved it. They were the better side. And they grew in confidence as the game went on. You could tell at the start of the game that Everton were a team that lacked all kinds of confidence. They could not pass the ball. They could not even really get out of their half. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had rarely any touches of the ball. Richarlison had a couple touches, but that was in his own half. They just couldn't get the ball up the pitch. It was all Man United, but that all changed on that goal from Anthony Gordan, deflecting off Harry Maguire. And then from then, it's like a switch was turned inside Goodson Park. The fans were up for it, and the players were up for it, and Everton had a complete change in their mentality and energy. And they go on to win the game, and boy, did they deserve it. I mean, this is big for them, because Everton got a tough run. They go to play Chelsea. They've got to play Arsenal in the last game of the season. They've got a few other tough games. So they needed 3 points a day. All the home games they have to perform. If you are going to stay in the Premier League, you need to perform at home. Away, yeah, it can get tricky, but this is your bread and butter at home. It's a tough Man United side, but you came with the 3 points and you deserved it. I remember when they played Man City a few weeks back when they lost, and they probably could have deserved a draw in that game. This makes up for it here. I mean, let's talk about Man United now, though, because problems, and more problems for that football club. I mean, we know Ralph Rangnick is going to be there next season. Potentially Ten Hag. I mean, if Ten Hag was watching this, he'd be ripping up that contract if he had signed it. Horrible for Man United. But it's what we expect, to be honest, because I've seen Man United this whole season. I saw them parts last season. They're just not a very good football team. They've got good football players, I'm not going to deny that. Pogba, Ronaldo, Fernandes, good football players. Sancho on his day, a good football player. But they're not a good football team. There's 11 players on the football pitch. You don't play for yourself, you play for the team. And the Man United players are not playing for the team. I mean, we had Richarlison doing keepy-ups with his head, and no Man United player thought of clearing him out. Or, you know what, like, there's no personality, there's no character in that team. Aside from the fact that they're just not playing football with any flair right now. They're not playing football with any passion. And that's even worse. Have some character about you. Have times when, you know what, we're not playing very well, but at least we're like Man United. We have aggression, we have character. We're going to be in your face, etc. Man United showcased zero of that. I honestly say it was disappointing. They just couldn't compete with Everton after Everton took the lead. They crumbled, folded like a house of cards as soon as they went 1-0 down. I mean, yeah, in the first half they had some good chances. They were playing some good football to start the game. Rashford had a couple of good chances. Ronaldo had a chance. But then you go 1-0 down and it's like there's no plan B, there's no plan C, and there's nothing there. It's like, okay, plan A doesn't work. What's your backup plan? How's the tactics getting changed? Who's going to get you back in this football match? No one was there to do so. They went 1-0 down and heads dropped immediately. Heads dropped in all facets of the game. They couldn't run with Everton. They couldn't pass with Everton. They couldn't shoot like Everton. Everything was just a drop-off. And it's worrying to see from Man United. I mean, I believe they were out the top four race when they dropped points at Leicester last week. This confirms it. For me, it's between Arsenal and Tottenham for that top four position. Man United have to compete for the Europa League positions. And at the end of the day, that is not good enough. That is not good enough for a club the size of Man United and a club that finished second in the Premier League last season to be not competing for the Premier League title, let alone not compete for the Champions League. It's just not good enough. They're out of all competitions other than the Premier League, and it seems like now it's going to be a write-off season with one of the greatest footballers of all time playing up front for them in Cristiano Ronaldo. Man United have nothing to play for with 7 games left or 8 games left. It's not good enough. It's not good enough by all accounts. I'm not a Manchester United fan, I'm an Arsenal fan. And the next reaction on this channel will be Arsenal versus Brighton, which is happening in about 30 minutes from recording this. But I can see from the outside in that there's too many problems for Manchester United Football Club and not enough solutions. Like I speak about with Arsenal need a striker. Everyone knows it. But I feel like the culture is in place with Arsenal. You just need a couple of players to fix it and just tweak you and go up in levels. With Man United, they've got players. I'm not denying that. They've got good players. But there's a whole culture problem around that football club. There's no culture. There's no sense of belonging. There's no sense of team. There's no spirit. No one's playing for each other. They're all playing for themselves. How do you think that when they go to international duty, they look like good footballers? In international duty, Harry Maguire looks like a decent defender. Bruno Fernandes looks good. Paul Pogba looks good for France. But at Man United, they all look horrible. Why do you think that's the case? Because they don't play for the badge and they don't play for each other. When it's their national team and they've got more on the line, they play like good footballers. Like we'd expect Paul Pogba and Maguire and Fernandes to play like. When it's for Manchester United, it's like they don't care. And that's a massive problem. Because I guarantee Man United fans, because it would be the same for me if it was Arsenal, you would rather see a player that wants to play for your club than a good player that doesn't want to play for your club. And that's the be all and end all, man. Like, I'd rather have a player, a 19-year-old, that maybe is not as good as Paul Pogba or not as good as Harry Maguire, but actually wants to play for this football club and will put everything on the line. Because that's what you want at the end of the day. Man United need a complete rehaul, a complete rebuild. They need to blow it up and build it from the get-go. That's just my opinion. As a non-Man United fan, I'm going to give an unbiased opinion. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, everything's rosy at Man United. I'm not going to sit here and laugh at them. Look, I could easily laugh at them as an Arsenal fan, but at the end of the day, Arsenal aren't in the best position either. I'm not a Liverpool or Man City fan. I think we're in a better position than Manchester United, but does not mean we're in the best position. And what does laughing at Man United going to do? I mean, I'll laugh at them on Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat, whatever, but here I'm going to talk about why, like, the problems with Man United and how they can fix it. Number one is the manager. Make no mistake about it. I think Ten Hag will be a good appointment. I really do. But then it comes with the culture switch. If he can go there and allowed to implement his ideas and his culture, then something good can happen at Manchester United Football Club. But if he's going there, it's going to be like Oli. It's going to be like Rangnick, where he's just there to manage the team and he doesn't get any other input or anything like that, and the players don't listen to him and the players don't respect him. Then you're just going to expect a circle with Man United. They're just going to go in circles. New manager, have a little bit of a boost, then fall off. New manager, have a little bit of a boost, then fall off. It's just going to be that. They're just doing a massive circle right here. So they need Ten Hag to break that mold and hopefully take Man United back to how they deserve, implement a culture into the club, discipline, and have players that want to play for the badge. Let's touch on Everton before I finish this reaction. I mean, they were in the bin, right? They just had no confidence whatsoever. The Burnley defeat in midweek, terrible defeat. Then they had to go play a 12:30 kickoff game. No complaints from them. They didn't make any excuse. They didn't say, oh, we played them in the week, now we've got to play the early kickoff. They rolled their sleeves up and they got to work and they got the win, which was deserved. A massive win for them and a massive win for Frank Lampard. And big up to the Everton supporters because they were with their team the whole way. I mean, that atmosphere was electric towards the end of that game. The second half, to be fair, last 30 minutes especially, they were on their team. It's like they literally had the 12th man there in Goodson Park. And they deserved it. And look, they've got some tough games coming up, as I touched upon in the start of the reaction. But if they perform like this, if they put their heart into it, they can definitely stay in the Premier League. Like, their players are good enough. Please do not tell me that Everton don't have as good of players as Burnley. Like, come on, man. They've got miles better players than Burnley. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think Norwich and Watford are going. I think it's between Burnley, Everton, Leeds, and maybe Brentford to get relegated. Everton have the best team out of all those three. There's no mistake about it. They have the best team. You tell me Damari Gray ain't a good footballer. Richarlison ain't a good footballer. Calvert-Lewin, if he was full strength, would be a good footballer. Doucouré, Allen, they played good minutes. They're good footballers. Pickford in goal for Everton does alright. I mean, at the end of the day, it will be a good run to end the season. On all accounts, relegation, Premier League and Champions League. But this was a massive win for Everton. A huge loss for Man United. For me, this ruled them out today. I thought they were out against Leicester, but this confirmed it. Manchester United out of the top 4 race. Everton have kept the relegation survival hopes alive. I've been White Football. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing on my road to 700. I post a lot of football reactions, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.